Hey, yo, what is up guys, Omni here, aka Bane. We are back with another video about the going first tech cards for Dracotail. The last video I made is currently at 3000 views, thank you very much, you all were very engaged in the comments. And with this video I want to give you more knowledge, more in-depth combos, discuss some points, and I hope after this video no one has a question anymore about the cards, and after that you can see if you want to play them or not. I'm just giving you an overview, so let's go over it. In the first part I will give you an overview of the tech cards and what they do. In the second part we will go through some combos and how we use those cards. In the third part we go through some calculations because we are including 2 garnets. You maybe want to know the maths behind it. In the fourth part we are going through the deck list I'm currently playing, and last but not least I will give you some of my final thoughts. So what is this all about? I'm discussing some tech cards that help you going first with Dracotail. So what do? We play Dracotail, right? So their going first board is a bit lackluster, and if you ask me, I'm a going first enjoyer. So if I have the chance to go first, I want to go first, and I want to push the ceiling a bit. How do we do it? By including Light End and Dark End Dragon. Those cards are good on their own, without the tech cards, because they let you fusion summon and get you into the Dracotail engine, which is completely fine. So if we are not locked into fusion summons and we have Arthalion out and one of these, we have some level 8 synergy, so we can go into rank 8, which would be Dragluxion. This guy on his own can get us Primal, which then can get us the trap, and on top of that can make an XYZ summon, so we can get out Galaxy-Eyes Tachyon Dragon. So ideally we have this guy out on the 5th summon, we can special summon out this before the 5th summon and have this in our hand. This card says as long as he's on the board, we can activate this from the hand, and it's an Omni negate. It can negate everything, and we can activate it from the hand, even in our turn. So what does it do? It gives us another layer in the end board by having it on the hand. So if your opponent has Feather Duster and Lightning Storm, or maybe Dark Ruler, we don't care because we can just chain the trap and negate it. If we use it as protection during the combo, because going on from there we will do even more stuff, and our opponent has, for example, Nibiru, we can use the trap from the hand to protect our combos. So it's a very nice tech option. Also, this is not only exclusive to the Dark and Light End Dragons. Technically we would have other ways to go into an rank 8 to get the same positive benefits from playing those cards. For example, Millennium, and I actually have a deck list. I will show it for a second. It's actually crazy. The problem with it is you pay a lot of life points using the Millennium engine, and you will be left with such a low amount of life points that Vanquish Soul is just an auto-lose matchup. As long as this deck is running around, there's really no reason to play Millennium, unfortunately. But what I also want to say with that is, as long as you have any way to facilitate level 8 monsters, you can also use the engine. It's not only exclusive to Dracotail, so I'm not sure how much of a good example it is, but maybe Centurion would like to use this engine too. And what else do I have to say? There was some suggestion in the comments that you can also just play it in the side deck as a tech option if you're going first. It's totally up to you. For me, I want to play it in the main deck, and I can give you some calculations later down the line, and we can discuss it there, why I'm trying to main it. But you can also just play it in the side deck. It takes up 2 slots and some extra deck slots. It's totally up to you. So let's go over the first combos. Maybe you are familiar with one of them already, because of the last video, but there will be many more. So for the first batch, I will always assume that you have Light End or Dark End Dragon, a Dracotail name, and something to fuse with. And I said it already, I know it sounds like I'm asking for a lot, but you will end up with hands like that, and if you know how you can play them out, that would be good for you. So let's go over it. We use Light End and banish something from the extra deck to special summon him. Then we use him to fusion summon, we get Arthalion, we have triggers, Arthalion and the fusion material, Urgula, we will set Ketu and add the stuff back. Actually you should do it the other way around, so just you have some protection from Bell, but who cares? Keep that in mind. We will get the material back, now we can make the rank 8, which searches us the Primal Dragon. And one thing I want to note here, unless you have Lukias in your hand, you always want to put Galaxy-Eyes Tachyon Primal to your field. With Lukias that's a different case, because you may want to use Ketu also to fusion summon, but whenever it's not about Lukias, just special summon Primal to your side of the field. So we special summon him, it's the 4th summon, we get the trap, then we can use Dragluxion to get into Galaxy-Eyes Tachyon Dragon, so the trap is alive in the hand. Then we use Ketu, add Lukias, normal Lukias, add Faimena, use Faimena, go into Secretarian Dragon. Now Arphalion will trigger, and Lukias will trigger as a fusion material. We will set Rahu, special summon Arphalion, use Secretarian to extend, special summon the Light End, so we can make a rank 8 body, and with the rest of the bodies we will make seals. Now, since we didn't use Faimena's effect yet to set something, we can use Urgula to add back Faimena, we shoot off Rahu, go into a second Arphalion with no effect unfortunately, but Faimena and the material from the deck will trigger, and we can set up both traps. So this is our end board, we have a bounce, we can special summon Mululu, we have a spell negate, and it also protects seals from the battle phase. We have him as a name to activate the trap from the hand, which is an Omni negate. We have another bounce and a draw, and another spell negate and a draw. And on top of that, we should have 2 more cards in the hand. This combo works with any Dracotail name, but you should focus on Mululu and Pan, because with all the other Dracotail names you have some better sequencing. So this combo is something to fuse with, Light End and or Mululu or Pan. So we do the regular stuff. Of course, don't forget to chain Arphalion correctly, so it has protection from Bell. We do the rank 8 stuff, and we do this exact same thing. We normal Lukias, add Faimena, fusion summon here. The only real difference is that we are missing on Urgula to add back Faimena to get both traps here. So what really differs here is that we will use Rahu to make the second Arphalion by sending Urgula from the deck. Then he will trigger set a trap, and instead of the second trap we can use Urgula then to add Faimena to the hand, which also adds to the board. In the last combo you would have your other fusion material still in your hand. Here you will need to use it with Rahu to make the fusion summon, and then like I said you can send Urgula, and with Urgula add back Faimena. So we are left with seals and a bounce that gets us into Mululu, or you can actually go into Pan or Urgula and use Faimena from the hand to fuse Arphalion and the thing you brought in with seals to make Filia Regis, and then get, for example, a spell or a monster pop on top of the banish. And unfortunately we are missing out 1 trap. So here for this combo we will assume we have Faimena in the hand. And since we get to trigger her effect already, we don't need to send her with Rahu in the end. So it will be the same combo again as always, but this time we have more options. We will use Primal, special summon it to a field, get the trap and protect ourselves. Then we use Ketu that we set from the fusion summon earlier, normal summon Lukias. And now we can add Urgula to her hand, make Secretarian, and Urgula on the spot can give us access back to Faimena. Lukias will set the trap, Urgula will set Rahu, and now we can use the other card in the hand for the fusion summon to send, for example, Mululu, so we have access to both traps, and now Urgula can give us back Faimena, and we have 2 traps, Faimena, so we have access to Filia Regis again. It's one of the better boards we can produce. So now we are going through the combo with Lukias in the hand, and here something different happens. Because we will use Dark End here to fusion summon, we will use Lukias trigger effect to set something on the first interaction, on the first step we do. So we will miss out later on another trigger we need. So in order to get more triggers, we will special summon Primal to our opponent's field. What that means is that we can normal summon Lukias, add something that still has the trigger left, and now Ketu can add us something that has the trigger left, and since our opponent has a monster on the field, we can fusion into Secretarian Dragon. So now we have 2 triggers again, which give us more room to get even deeper into the Dracotail engine. Now we have triggers again to special summon Arphalion, and we get 2 sets as I said. And now we have Faimena in the grave as a spellcaster, but not Lukias. And we want to get access to Faimena later. So what we do here is, since we triggered Lukias already regardless, we can just link him away and now use Secretarian to put Lukias back and special something out. Now we have both triggers, and we do the usual stuff. It's just a bit of a different sequence thing we do here. And now since we have Rahu left, we can dump Pan to also pop Primal on the opponent's field, and now we have a very nice setup again. So what do we do if we don't have something to fusion with? Let's assume we have Lukias and Light End. We normal Lukias, get Urgula, special summon Light End, fusion summon. This will be the third summon once we fusion summoned. We add back the material, set the cards, then we go into the rank 8, this will be the fourth summon, and then we get Primal, and this time we will special summon it to our opponent's field again, so we can fusion summon again and get more triggers for us going. This is the fifth summon. I will later show you a combo what happens if your opponent Nibiru's you here, but let's assume nothing happens. Primal will trigger and add us the trap, and from here we protect ourselves again, use Ketu to fusion summon and add something. We have extenders in the form of Arphalion and Secretarion, and I will do seals here for this example, but you can also go into Harp with the rank with the level 8 bodies. I will stick with seals to show you something. Let's assume we will pass on this board. We have seals, we have both traps, Faimena in the hand and the Omni Negate. In the draw phase we will use seals to bounce Galaxy-Eyes Tachyon Primal to our hand again. And then we can special summon out Dark and Light and Dragon. And now, as you see it, we have Faimena here, so we can fuse into Light and Darkness Dragon Lord, which is a bit funny, but you can play it out differently. I just wanted to showcase it to you. So let's see now what happens if our opponent nibs us here. So let's go with the same combo, but let's assume our opponent has Nibiru and will use it on the fifth summon, which will be the Primal Dragon, since Nibiru doesn't really differentiate where the monsters were summoned, but if your opponent summoned 5 times. So we will special summon Primal to our opponent's field here, which would be the fifth summon. He will be chaining 1, and our opponent will be chaining 2 with Nibiru, since it's the fifth summon. So everything gets tributed and we get the trap to our hand. Now, what is going on here? Our opponent has a monster on the field again, so we can still fuse with Ketu, and this is only for our advantage, so we can make Secretarion and special Arphalion out again, and we can go into seals again or something like Harp. So let's check it out. We use Ketu, get Faimena, use Faimena and Urgula to go into Secretarion. Arphalion will trigger and also Faimena will trigger. We will set Rahu. We could set Rahu, but we will set the trap here. Then we extend with Secretarion and special summon out Primal again. So we have the trap in the hand, we can set it, and then during our opponent's turn we can negate something with it again, since it checks for Galaxy-Eyes monsters on the field. So now we can use Urgula to get Faimena back, we set the trap. We have 2 more traps, so in our opponent's turn we can bounce Nibiru again in the draw phase and use Seals effect to special summon out Dark and Dragon. So once we use the trap during the opponent's turn to negate something, we actually don't need Tachyon Primal on the field anymore, and therefore we can use Faimena to special summon into Light and Darkness Dragon Lord again. Of course you can play it out differently, I'm just taking this as an example. So this time we will take a different approach to the same combo, we will sequence it differently. This time we will not search the Primal Dragon, we will rather search the trap. So on the 5th summon we have Galaxy-Eyes, Tachyon Dragon on the field, paired with the trap, without the Primal on the field. So from here, this will be our 5th summon, since we don't special summon Primal to the opponent's field. Therefore we would need to set Rahu to have further plays, which we can do here. Now we can use Urgula to add Faimena back, and now we can use the 2 Arphalions, or actually one of the 2 Arphalions, paired with Pan to go into Philia Regis. And here we have a combo with a less interactive board, but it's still something, right? I see 4 interactions here, and on top of that we should have 3 cards in the hand. Let's go over some tips and tricks. I won't play everything optimally here, I just want to get some points across. And one of them is what to do if you end up with Tachyon Primal in the hand. So I'm seeing a line here, it's probably not optimal, I'm just I'm just going over it. I will fusion summon and use Rahu first. Let's send Lukias to make our Falion. Now we can add something back. In this case it will be Lukias. Now we'll just normal summon it, get Faimena. And now what I can do is use Faimena and Lukias and Primal Dragon for Secretarion. Lukias will trigger, of course, and set Ketu. Now we can use Secretarion and special summon out him, put this into the bottom of the deck. Now on summon he triggers and will give us access to the trap. And unfortunately we cannot use it from the hand, but if we set it, we can use it because he's on the field during our opponent's. Also, one other thing, like for example here with Rahu, make our Falion. Usually what you should do is declare our Falion first to chain block, and then the materials used for the fusion summon to set cards, because as far as I know there's no card you could chain to that, so our Falion is protected. Doing it that way you don't run into the chance of getting a Ghost Belt or something like that, so only Impermanent Veiler will work against our Falion, and Bell is currently a very popular hand trap. Also one other thing I want to say is the only real example I can give you right now is Dracotail. This trap, it negates everything that was in the chain. So if you are in the Dracotail mirror, this card wins you the game alone. Because let's say your opponent, he goes second and he uses Keto Dracotail, for example. Just for example, he will add something and then fuse his whole hand away to make, for example, Guardian Chimera. Let's assume this is Guardian Chimera. Then he will have 4 chain links, chain link 1 in the grave, chain link 4 Chimera and whatnot, and then you just chain this trap and it will negate every card from your opponent in the chain. And also on top of that, every card that was activated on the field will get shuffled back to the deck. So he can say goodbye to Guardian Chimera, it will be negated and shuffled back, and each material used that is in the grave right now and triggering to set cards is also negated. So maybe if your opponent doesn't know those cards or is not familiar with them, he just runs into it and will scoop from there. Also, I want to show you a sequence, how you can get the trap and the negate without playing into Droll. Or let's say better, let's say you assume your opponent plays Droll, maybe because it's game 3 and you're going first, and you know, you look in your hand and you know, okay, I can try to get the trap first. Then my opponent rolls, and depending on the hand you can play under Droll regardless. So how you could do it is, you go into the rank 8, and he on summon, he can not only search you the Primal Dragon, he can also search you the trap. So let's assume we add the trap, our opponent will draw us here, but we don't care because we can still use him to make the XYZ summon. And now we still have the trap and the negate, and depending on your hand you can play from here on the draw. For example, you have Rahu and the Dracotail name on top of that. So going on from here you don't need to add cards to your hand anymore. So you just throw Rahu, make Arfalion, dump something from the grave, for example Urgula, I don't know, and then you set up the traps. And your opponent went -1 without you caring, but it really depends on your hand and if you know how to play it out. So we are including 2 garnets into the deck. Technically they are not bricks, because you can still do the combo if you see them in your hand, but of course you don't want to see them in your hand. So let's calculate some probabilities here. First we will cover the going second case, and second of all I will make sound those numbers a bit nicer than they actually are, just because I'm biased, but let's go over it. We are going second, and we are aiming for a bit of a higher deck size, so we see those cards less often, which would be 43 in this example. And since we are going second, we will draw an additional cards, so we will be left with 6 cards in the hand. What you see here is the probability of drawing one of these cards or both. The chances of that is roughly 25%, which means 1 in 4 games. So what we did here is, we take the deck and draw 6 cards. What we can actually apply here is the following thing. We are going second only 50% of the time, which would mean drawing 6 cards and seeing one of these or both in the hand mattered only in 1 in 8 cases, because in 1 of 4 cases we went first with those cards, and we can compensate for that. Let's go over the going first case. I excluded Galaxy-Eyes Primal here, just because we can just fusion summon him away and bring him back with Secretarian Dragon, so we get to search the trap and then have an Omni-Negate alive. So we really just care for the trap itself, because the trap itself doesn't accomplish anything. What is the chance of drawing the trap in a 40-free deck when you draw 5 cards? It's 10%, roughly 10%. So 1 in 10 games, if you go first, you will see the trap in your hand. Let's do some more calculations. What you see here is, it's not the exact number, because I forced the trap in the hand and then calculated the probabilities going from there. But what the 4% represents is, you have the trap in the hand, light end or dark end dragon, at least one, and at least one Dracotail name. So you have rank 8 access and the trap is alive again. So in 4% of the cases, when you draw a card, when you draw those cards, they're not dead. So we can subtract that from 11%, which will leave us with 7.59% of the time. If you go first, you will have the trap in your hand and no rank 8 access, which roughly translates to 1 in 30 games. You have the trap in your hand and it's low-key dead. And what I want to say with that is, there is some risk with that and some reward. For me, I like the reward, so I'm aiming to play it in my main deck, but of course you're free to just put it in your side deck to lower the risk, because what we calculated here is the first game of the match, which we don't decide. After that we can side those cards in or out as we like it. So just make a choice. I want to make the choice to get the reward, but of course there's some risk attached to that. So this is my current deck list. Let's address some of the things you can see here. Let's go first over Dark End and Light End Dragon. I play playsets of those just because on their own they are a way to fusion summon, therefore more consistency with any Dracotail name, and also I'm aiming to do the rank 8 stuff. Therefore I need to see one of these. So of course I will play multiple of these. Then we play the 2 Garnets, and what you see here is a playset of Urgula and 1 Pan. Maybe I will switch to 2 Urgulas and 2 Pan or something like that, but I like to increase the amount of these 2 cards, just because therefore Faimena becomes much more impactful, because you have a higher chance of seeing one of these, and then you can interact with your opponent on his turn, and Faimena becomes stronger turn 0, because you can pop something. And also randomly, Urgula and one of these, Dark End or Light End Dragon, randomly is one of the better combo starters. Let's talk about the non-engine. I play this of course to protect myself from plays, and tactics just because one of my friends told me it's stupid to not play this card, so I just throw it in. I wanted to increase the deck size regardless, so the chances of seeing this or the traps is less likely, so I just threw it in. The non-engine, I'm playing Bell and Droll, Ash of course for Fuvalos and Fuvalos because it's mandatory, but let's talk about Bell and Droll. I think they're covering a lot of the matchups that are pretty tough for Dracotail, and you can use Droll against Vanquisher K9 for example, or other combo decks, Mitsurugi, and also Yummy's somewhat of a tough matchup. The deck overall is pretty good, so we need something against it, and I think Bell is really good against Yummy. Therefore I want to address the problem matchups with my non-engine in the main deck. The side deck is totally up to you. Let's go over the extra deck. I include a second Secretarian, and I would advise you to also play a second if you play something like this, because you will burn through one copy of Secretarian Dragon just by comboing. This card could also be something else. You will banish something regardless. Maybe you want to play 3 Secretarian, I don't know. Light and Darkness Dragon actually is not mandatory. I just want to play it for the sake of it. And What else is there? You don't need Typhon. I don't even know why it is there, but let's exclude those cards. You see, you have still 2 extra deck slots you can fill with cards you want, maybe SP, maybe something else. So let's cover some final thoughts over the deck. What you see right now is some very rushed gameplay between me and a friend. We played the Miro because we both want to test the deck. I think we played like 5 or 6 rounds and I was only able to win 1, which makes me pretty happy because facing my own deck, not being able to break it, is exactly what I wanted to see. So it's a good pre-detector of seeing if the deck works or not. What else is there? I went to locals last week with the deck, not the exact deck list I showed you in the video, but a very similar one, and I went 3-1, and the one loss was because I faced the Miro match, and the first game I bricked, so I had Urgulas and Pans and no way to fusion, and the second game I made full board. My opponent activates Faimena, and what I should do there is, once Arphalion hits the field and he triggers the stuff in the graveyard he used for the fusion material, all I had to do was activating the trap, and then Arphalion would be put back from the field to the extra deck and the chain links in the grave would be negated, but for some reason I just didn't do it. I was just completely brain AFK. If it wasn't for that, I would have another chance to win the round, and maybe going on from there it would be a 4-0. Let's see, maybe I managed to get to locals this week too, and I want to see how the deck performs there again. And this weekend I will go to a regional and I will play this deck in some way, shape or form. Maybe I will switch some non-engine out, but that's about it. And it will be the first time for me entering a regional. I'm not having the biggest goals for that because it will be the first time of me entering an event like that, and I always struggle with fatigue. After a few rounds I'm just getting a bit tired and my performance suffers from that. Also there's a chance I will be excited, very excited, which maybe also hinders my performance, but regardless of the outcome I will give you an update and tell you how it went there. I'm mainly there to have a good time. It will be the first time I will go to a regional. I want to see a very big event like that with my own eyes and see how things go there. What else is there to say? This time I made this video much longer than the rest of the videos. Please just let me know if you made it this far, if you like the approach of making a very in-depth guide. Let me know if you liked certain sections a lot, or if you think certain sections could be left out. Please just let me know. And other than that, have an amazing day, have an amazing night, and in general, just have an amazing life.